Hello, everybody. Welcome to Quilt Lab. And this week we're talking spring blossoms. Yes, I know we're already talking spring, but here at Sew in Common, we use the system I created called Build a Quilt, where we create our patchwork with the hoop of our embroidery machine. And I'm thrilled to have you all with us. Today we've got lots to go over, so let's just go ahead and jump in and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is this month's block, which you see behind me, Diamond in a Cross. Now that pattern is available on the website. I'm going to show you all that at the end. And you're going to get all of the digital files that you need to make it with your embroidery machine, all of the written step-by-step instructions, the coloring sheet, all of that information. There's some of the step-by-step instructions for you. All of that information is on here. This pattern is available at the website. If you are a subscriber to Quilt Lab, then you should have received your coupon code to go and download it at no cost because it's part of your subscription. Now, if you just signed up for the subscription for Quilt Lab yesterday, and I know a few of you did, great, thank you, welcome. You will have gotten an email this morning with that coupon code and all in it. So if you didn't get it last night, I was away for a while. You got it this morning, and welcome to the Quilt Lab subscription. Speaking of Quilt Lab subscription, at the end, I will let you all know, at the end of the video, I'm going to let you all know when our first live Zoom is for subscribers for February. So that's coming. In fact, I'm going to stick that right here in front of me so I don't forget it. But this month, our block is the Diamond in a Cross. You see back there, and you see back there that it's just done in 2 fabrics. But for the project, which is what we're going to talk about today, you can see it here. I've done it differently because we're going to be making a project with it. And let me bring that picture up for you. Here is, you're going to be able to make one of 2 designs or both designs, doesn't matter. You can make them both. You can either create the Spring Blossoms runner or the Spring Blossoms topper, table topper. Either way, you might want to make both. Maybe you want this on a coffee table in the living room or on a sofa couch, or not a sofa couch, a sofa table, and you want this on a dining room table or a small table to put a beautiful vase of flowers in. Either way, you're going to be able to make both of those. Now, to get some general information about what you're going to need to do that other than your pattern, you're going to go to the website and you'll see the project companion piece. It's a free download. Now, if you don't have this pattern, you're not going to be able to make it, but the companion piece is free, so you get the general information. And what that general information, all it tells you is it shows you the layout and the pictures for what you, and the for what your fabrics need to look like. So all of your cut sheets, all of your information for making your individual blocks is in the pattern itself. So you don't get any of that or the digital files in the companion. The companion is just to help you put together the 2 projects. Okay, I hope that's clear. So what I chose to do, we know that the block comes in 3 sizes, right? You get files when you purchase your pattern. You get files for an 8x8 square, a 9x9, and a 15x15. That's our 15x15. But the one we're going to be using in both projects, as I've created them, is the 9x9. Now, if you say, oh, that's great, but I want like a wall hanging too. Let's go back and look at this then. So this piece right here, if you made that in the 15x15 in it finished blocks, you would get a 30x30 wall hanging. That would be gorgeous for the springtime. You could coordinate a whole spring blossoms collection in the house. Now, Neither one of these projects need to be done this week, right? We're going to work on these. Next week, I'll show you where I am on mine. You can post pictures over at the Facebook page, which is, of course, entitled Sew in Common, and show us pictures of where you are, what fabrics you chose. Now, if you're wondering about the fabrics, remember we had the little vote to decide on a color palette, and we chose this orchid card. Did I do pretty good? The only one I didn't use really was the ghost white. I have the darker magenta, and this is kind of really between a lavender, kind of a lighter magenta in here, what I used. But here, this, or orchid, sorry, these are the orchid. This one is the magenta. Isn't that a pretty good matchup? Oh, I like that. And when you look on the back of this, you can see it gives you like the different values, so you can choose those. So I chose that. The center is the light pink, and then the green that you see, which kind of represent the leaves in the project, the blossoms leaves, was Kelly green. Now, when I think Kelly green, I think those really bright Kelly greens that you see like on St. Patrick's Day and all. But I also think of spring greens, and what I chose here is definitely a spring green, right? Don't you agree? And so those are the fabrics I chose for the project. Now, I'm going to tell you that in my project, I'm going to have these colors, but they'll probably, each block or every couple blocks are going to be different fabrics in those colors, because I don't have enough of anything to make a whole project right now. And I didn't have time to get it ordered in, because you guys know I have to order in my fabric because we live in the country. So, but these are going to be the ones I'm going to use. Didn't that turn out good? I was really surprised I had things that went that well. So I love those. So that was the fabrics I chose. And in the photographs that are in the companion piece for the project, you'll see what you cut in each one of these. It's going to show you that. But your cut list will be right in the pattern, and of course your digital patterns. So that is our project that we're starting for the Diamond in a Cross block, and we're calling our projects the Spring Blossoms, because I really think, don't those look like blooming flower? First I thought rosebuds, and then I thought, no, for me, because we lived out in Seattle, I thought that really, to me, looks more like rhododendron and azaleas and stuff in bloom in the spring. So I just thought spring blossoms, right? Pretty good matchup there, I think. Alrighty, so that is the project for this week that we're starting. Don't feel like you have to have any of them done. I think if you wanted to do the table topper or a larger, the 30 by 30 wall hanging piece, which is just the 4 blocks, I think you could easily get that done this week. If you want to do the runner, which is 12 of the 9 by 9 blocks, so the topper and this are using the 9 by 9 blocks. But if you switch this up and use your 15 by 15 inch finished blocks, then you'll get that larger wall hanging. But if you're going to do the runner, that's going to be 12 blocks, okay? 2 rows of 2. So just so that's clear, that information will be in the companion piece as well. But that is going to be the beginning of our piece. Let's look at the block again a little bit. So here's how I changed it up. 2 corners, the half square triangles are the same. And in the opposite, or I'm sorry, 3 of the corners are the same. And then up here in this corner, I changed it and made it, all the outside parts are this color, but I made this one the green, kind of that for the flower effect or the leaf effect. In the modified half square triangles, these 2 are the same, and they're the orchid, dark orchid with the green. And then these 2 are the same, and they're dark orchid, and then the lighter orchid or lavender there. Okay, and then the 1 diamond in a square is the pink and the magenta. So what I did was I I completely changed the colors in the diamond in a square, because if you look at the one behind me, you'll see that's still the same fabrics on that sample. On this one, I completely changed my fabric so that I could use the colors in our color set. And then I changed up 2 of the modified half square triangles and 1 of the half square triangles, the regular half square triangle. I switched those up, and that's what ends up giving us this leafy look on here. Alrighty. So very, very easy to put that together too. But next week I'll show you where I'm at, and we'll keep going with that too. Because I think I might create a quilt pattern for this, because I kind of might want more of a blossomy look. Or I know that like Kimberbell quilting designs, I think they have some flowery ones too. So check around for something flowery for your finished quilting. We'll talk more about that though in the next week. Alrighty, so now I'm going to stop that screen for a moment. And I want to talk about, if you're wondering what these are from Workshop Wednesday, our Queen of Hearts. I've got my 4 big ones made. I need to make my 8 small ones, and then I can put my project together for that. So I'll have that to show everybody hopefully on Wednesday, because I want it done so I can put it on my table for Valentine's Day. Alrighty, so this week, this is the next thing I want to talk about today. This week, I got a question about fonts. Now, I had put out something on the Instagram page. If you don't follow us on Instagram, feel free. We'd love to have you follow us on Instagram as well. It is so uncommon, right? You couldn't guess that, right? So I had a question about a font that I used, wondering if it was stitched onto that picture she was seeing, or was it just a regular font? And it was just a regular font. But that made me think maybe we should spend a little time talking about fonts, because with our Queen of Hearts set, the 4 and the 5 inch, we've talked about that already, make a really great quilt label. And so I thought, let's talk about some fonts, because I know our machines always come with some fonts. But to be honest, I'm never all that thrilled with the fonts that come on my machine. And there are a couple of ways that you can use and get fonts. So I'm going to bring up another shared screen here. Let's see. This is the one I want to bring up first. So this is a company. This is out on the web, and it's a company called Stitchtopia. Stitchtopia. And they've got lots of sets here. And the type of font that the person was looking at this week was a script font. Okay. So let's bring up this one. And so their patterns look like they come in multiple sizes. And apparently they also give you a format if you own Embrilliance software. Do any of you own Embrilliance software where you kind of create your own designs and things? Apparently with Stitchtopia's designs, they also give you files for that as well. But what I wanted you to see was down here. Where did I find it? Here we go. Under additional information, it tells you the file types. So it comes in all these file types. So I think the BX, that's the Embrilliance file type. But it comes in DST, EXP, HUS, JEF, PES, SEW, all of these file types, which pretty much covers the gamut of our machines. So with this type of font, you would pick the font you want, and you would load it onto your USB stick. Let me grab a stick here. I know I've got one right here. So you would pop your USB stick into your USB drive on your computer, and you would load all the files onto here, just like you do with any of your Build-A-Quilt files. Then you would plug that into your machine, and you would be able to see the files, and you'd bring them in and add them one by one in order to create whatever saying that you wanted to create. So let's go back and take a look. They've got quite a few in here. This one's kind of pretty, I think. This it's called Abbey Road. That's kind of pretty. If you want fonts that are applique, they have those as well. But they have quite a few in here. Oh, 95 pages of them. My goodness. So that's a lot. Now, this is one thing I wanted to talk to you all about. I always like to look. Do you see down here where it says page 1 and then page 95? I always like to look at the last page first because they tend to hide, I think, little gems in there. And what I find down here is they have these little zodiac symbols. And it looks like you can get the whole set, or you can buy just maybe your zodiac symbol. And let's see what they've got on page 94. I don't think I've ever used any Stitchtopia designs, but I might be looking at these. They're nice. Oh, so they even have them in a written format here. You can get those. So they're still into the zodiac stuff there. They've got this cute little mint here. You melt my heart. Now, isn't that cute for Valentine's Day? You make my heart twirl. I love that. Twirl or swirl? Twirl. I love that. So what I like to do is look at the end, because a lot of times they have small little things at the end that can be your quilt label logo. So maybe, maybe Zodiac isn't your thing. But what I like to do on my quilt labels is put a little logo on there. And what I use a lot of times is a little thread spool with a needle in it that a friend of mine digitized for me many years ago before I knew anything about digitizing. And I stitch it out on my label, and it's just my little thing. It just represents me and the quilt that I'm giving. But a lot of times at the end here, you'll find little things like that. Or you could go into their other designs. Let's see what else they have. Alphabets. Oh, it looks like alphabets and things are big for them. They have frames. What are their frames about? Let's see all of their frames. Here we go. Oh, now these would be, see guys, these are super cute. Maybe you want to find something like this to add your initial to, and that's your quilt label logo. Now look at that for Easter. So cute to put on the back of your quilts or your projects. Super, super. I love these. Okay, I'm going to highly recommend these. I've never used one, but I may have to purchase one and try it myself just to see how they stitch out. They're not expensive, and they've got a lot. I'm guessing this is a pretty reputable company. It looks so to me, even though I've never used it. Let's see. Thread. Let's see what that comes up with if we get anything here. I don't see any thread spools. Maybe I should type in thread spool and see if we come up with something. Thread spool. Anything? No, nothing like that. But boy, did they have a lot of things there. So I'm going to give this a try. I will order a couple of these and stitch them out and then show them to you on a Social Friday Live. So that's one way you can do your fonts. Now I want to take you to another one. Hang on, it makes me go out and come back in to show you these. Let me bring up the new one. Here we go. Hang on. So yeah, this is the one. Okay. Make sure you're seeing the one I am. Now, this company is embroiderydesigns.com. I bet a lot of you know them. They're very popular. I do own some of their things. And so I wanted to find a place for fonts with you. And again, this company has a ton of fonts. But what I didn't know is if you look right up here, you need to download their free software. And when you do, it looks like you get 3 fonts included for free. It looks like they even have free online training for their software. I don't know anything about their software. I've never used it, but I know I have purchased like regular embroidery designs from them in the past, and they're a very reputable company. I like them very much. But it looks like if you do this, you have to download a software. And probably, if I'm correct, because the last thing I'm going to show you works this way, you would have these designs in the software, create what you want in the software, download that to your USB stick, plug that into your machine, and then stitch it out. And that's great because that really allows you to play a lot more. Software is always going to let you play more than just bringing in design by design. Although sometimes you just want a little something and you see something you really like in those single file designs, and they're great. I'm not talking them down at all, especially if you want something that is just a small something. But if you really want to get more into the designing about what your stuff is going to look like, this kind of thing really, really works great. Now, if you're a Disney person, they have a Disney font. I'm guessing if it's the true Disney font, they've licensed this with Disney. Otherwise, they will be in big trouble. You guys, I mean, Disney doesn't play with that. Now, the person that contacted me was looking for a very clear and easy to read script. I think this crystalline one, that's kind of pretty and easy to read. The Southampton, this one, I love that. It's probably not as easy to read. This one over here that says Michelle, that looks very easy to read for a script. This Midnight Signature font is not too bad. So there are a lot of, now this stitch lettering font, very, very easy to read. Those look like they're just run stitches. That's perfect if you want something really clear and easy to read. So I like that one very much. But look, they just have all kinds in here. But remember, if you do these, apparently you need to download their free software to use them, which I don't really need another software, but boy, would I like to. I'm going to see if I can't use these in the software I have, because these are really great. And there's, how many pages are we looking at here? At least 97. Let's go and see what they've got at the end. Oh, they got some fun ones at the end, you guys. Look at these. These are really cute. Oh, that one's kind of interesting looking. Oh, there's a very pretty font if you wanted to do, this says a wedding script font. That kind of looks weddingish, doesn't it? That's kind of pretty. Very pretty. Let's go back another page. Yeah, these are all kinds of fonts. And then I know, of course, they have these embroidery packs. Let's see what some of these are. Oh, these are cute. These little monsters are cute. Oh, aquatic animals. They look like little monsters, aquatic monsters to me. But look, they have packs. Very nice. This is really a good company. And this company is actually not located not very far away from where I live. I've never been there, but I know that they're located just kind of up the road from us. So that is another way you can do your fonts. Now I'm going to remove this and stop the share and bring in one last one. And you guys, I bet you know what I'm going to show you. Dime, Designs in Machine Embroidery. So a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you all about resizing your quilting designs with their tool shed, with their embroidery tool shed, that free software, which is great. Well, Dime has 6 different font packs, it looks like at this point, and all of these can be used in that tool shed. All right, so it's the same idea where you manipulate them in a software, and then you save your design in your design file format onto your USB, plug it into your machine, and away you go. But I know personally that Dime's fonts are fantastic. I think I have all of these, to be honest. Now, to be honest, these font collections are a much higher price than we saw on some of these others that we looked at. However, I know that Dime does events, online events, and a lot of times they'll have different font packages on special. So you could check that out. Go to their website, dzgns.com, and you can check all of that out. In fact, is there anything over here that that tells us how to do that? No, but I know if you go there, you can sign up for some of their events and stuff if you wish to go to them. But their fonts here are beautiful. And I think their volume 6, let's see, can we bring that up? You're getting 25 luxury font collections. And so you're getting 25. So in those others that we saw, you would get like just this one. That's all you'd get. In this collection, one of the reasons they're more is you're getting 25 of them. So you're getting quite a bit. So Adrenaline, that's that one. There's your Arial. That's kind of a fun one. Alpine, Art Deco Monogram. Awesome. I think they have, is this one that has this one? It does. If you're a Barbie lover, if you know someone that is all into this Barbie movie, which don't talk to me about the Barbie movie. I have some real, I am an original Barbie owner, and I have some problems with that movie, but I think it was beautifully filmed. It reminded me a lot of, how Barbie was packaged and all that, but I have some problems with the film in general. Just my 2 cents worth. We watched it here at home. We didn't go to the theater to see it. But anyway, regardless of all that craziness, that's my brain damage. If you have somebody who loves Barbie, and I do love Barbie. Like I said, I'm an original Barbie owner. I have the original Barbie dream house that was cardboard that you popped out and folded to create the house. It was a long time ago. But they have a Barbie font here. So you're getting a lot. This Cool Dots one, absolutely one of my favorites. So that's the collection 6. I'm trying to think, is there one, maybe font volume 3. So volume 3 is specifically monograms. 4 is puffy fonts. So I guess you use the puffy foam with those. 2 is micro fonts. And I'm going to say, as a quilter who needs to do quilt labels, these micro fonts are perfect for that because they are created. Oh, look, there's one with my name. Oh, everybody should have that one, right? But these are created specifically to be small letters under 1/2 inch. If you take a larger font and you squish it down, sometimes they don't stitch right. These micro fonts are made to stitch perfectly. What that is, perfectly for labels. So if you're looking for fonts for labels, regardless of where you get them, make sure that they say that they are micro fonts, because that's the only font that really is going to work right. Now, again, I know that's kind of a higher price scenario, but you're getting, how many of these are you getting? Does it say? So these are 3 millimeters. You can do them as 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, and 6 millimeter, which is all under the size of a dime. And look how beautifully they're stitched out. Even their scripts on the small ones are pretty readable, right? How many do you get, though? I'm trying to look. Oh, you get 11 collections here. Ariel, Bauhaus, Brush, Casual, Century, Diana, Gaudi, Hobo, Impress, Review, and Rounded. And I know that Hobo font is one of my favorites too. But again, like I said, maybe you spend an hour at one of their events and you can get it at a lesser price if they're still doing that. Okay. So, but again, these fonts go with that free download software, the Embroidery Tool Shed that I told you about. Let's go ahead and take that off. And I want to show you, I've made a couple of things that I hang in our home. This is a little pendant. I just bought the pre-made canvas pendant from Amazon and one of these gorgeous little hangers so I can interchange these little things. And together is our favorite place to be, and the Atkinsons on there, and then this hangs in our hallway right as you come in the door. Now, this was part of a Dime software package called Word Art in Stitches. If you're really into doing word art, that is a software you definitely want to think about. Again, a considered purchase, but you definitely want to think about it because you can do tons of stuff and it comes with oodles of fonts. Okay, but that's one thing I did. And then I did another one for my room. Again, this is how these little canvas pennants came. They came on a dowel with a kind of a rope, and so I left it like that for my room. But this one hangs right in here in my room. This was done in the Word Art and Stitches. Now, I'm not trying to sell you anything from Dime. I'm just kind of showing you I have samples of these things that I've made for myself, so I wanted to show them to you. Remember, you don't have to purchase any of this extraneous stuff that I'm showing you, but because we're talking about fonts, I kind of thought you'd like to see these things, right? So here I made up this one. This was a built-in layout template in their software. It had nothing to do with embroidery. I think it had to do with weddings or something. Well, I went in and changed everything so that it would talk about embroidery and quilting and Sew Life Beautiful. I even have that on there. X's and O's because I love it so much, and little flowers, things that I picked out to put in there, my little smiley face, all that stuff. So if you, like I said, if you're really into this, you could go to their, I know they'll have Word Art and Stitch events. You could check that out. And I know that when they do those, they typically have the software at a reduced price for you. But all of that to say, those are things you can do to look, places you can look for your fonts. I'll list those in the description, you guys, so that you can see them. All righty. Now, I want to move on to the last thing, and we talked about this Friday in Social Friday Live, and I'm going to connect that, link that video here at the end because you're going to want to go and watch watch the whole thing. We had a lot of fun, but about the 30-minute mark or a little past that is when I talk about this. So a couple of weeks ago, a group of you got a hold of me that you stitched together. I'm so glad. I love it when people stitch together and they find stuff like Build-A-Quilt and stuff to do that. I love that. It's so much fun to have friends and loved ones that you stitch with. I think it's inspirational. It's fun. It's social. I love that. But you contacted me via support@sewandcommon.com and said, Riley Blake is doing a free block challenge this year, but it's in traditional piecing and quilting. Can you do it in the Build-A-Quilt system? So I knew that they did this last year, and I know other groups do these where they have people that design for them, create blocks. You get a block. I think Fat Quarter Shop does this kind of thing too. And then every week you get a block. At the end of a certain time period, they give you a layout to create the quilt. So I went and looked at Riley Blake's online. And indeed, you're going to want to watch, like I said, yesterday's part where I go through this in much more detail because I don't want to go too much longer today. There is a sheet that tells you each Tuesday there's going to be the release of a new pattern. There are going to be 16 blocks. This is going to end at the end of May. then part of this is because they're using Riley Blake fabrics. Of course they are. And the designers for the blocks are Riley Blake fabric designers. Of course they are. And so you know you're getting good stuff, guys, right? Really good stuff. So they're using the Riley Blake confetti. Let's see, is it confetti? Confetti cotton solids. And they're also using expression batiks. I don't like batiks in full quilts for myself. I like them in small projects. I am not using this fabric only because I couldn't get it to me. The one place that had it still didn't have all of it and said they couldn't get it to me till the end of the March, and that's just too long for me to wait. But I'm going to try and use these colors because these colors are, remember at the end of 2023, I showed you the new trend colors for 24. These are them, guys, in fabrics. Yay, right? Somebody's doing those beautiful colors. So this one, it doesn't print off good, but that's that Blue Nova. We're already 4 blocks behind, and come Tuesday, we'll be 5 behind. But I have started digitizing these for you guys in the Build a Quilt format. They are completely free. This quilt along from Riley Blake is completely free, and these are not my original design. So I in no way am going to charge you for the Build a Quilt patterns. That's just kind of unscrupulous to me. So I'm not going to do it. They're completely free. They will be out until the end of the first week of June. Then the individual patterns will all come down. I'll bundle them all up as one bundle and then put that bundle back out there, and it'll just stay out there. The videos I'm going to do for the Build a Quilt version will just stay out there. Right now, you'll get them week by week. So right now, if you go to the website, you can get the first block, which is by Lori Holt, none other. And she's calling it Vintage Delight. And this is it. These blocks are 10 by 10, everybody. So these are not the typical size we do here at Build a Quilt, but they're a perfect size for quilting. And so this is the first one. I've created it. There are 3 more out there. The Framed Star by Fran Gulick. I don't know this lady, but I'm going to look her up because that's a beautiful star. It's basically an inspired star on top of a square and a square. Great design. Amy Smart, who I love, you guys know I love her fabric and all, created this one, Dalesford, which is a farm in England. This is an inspired star, but look what she did in the center. She did modified half square triangles in the center. Yes, I'm already marking them up so that I can digitize them for you guys. Beverly McCullough did this one called Sparkle and Shine. Whoops, there you go. You can see that a little bit better. So I'm going to try and get these digitized ASAP so we're not so far behind, but we might end up being a week or 2 behind everybody else in the block challenge. That's okay. We'll eventually probably catch up. So if you go to the website, you will get the free Riley Blake patterns. Again, the designers of these blocks and Riley Blake get all the credit in this. All I'm giving you are the digital designs and the fabric cutting information, because in this part, it gives you the block by block. It tells you which fabrics they're going to use and how much to cut. Don't use this cutting information for the Build a Quilt. Use the information that comes with the digital files from Sew and Common or from Build a Quilt. Okay, so that way you'll have the right amount of fabric. But all the credit for this goes to Riley Blake and these designers. These are not my designs. I'm just translating. Remember, we've talked about this a lot of times, taking a quilt pattern and translating it into the Build a Quilt system. I'm doing that for you guys so that we can have fun and do this beautiful quilt along as well. Check with your local shops, your local fabric shops for these fabrics, or at least try and use the colors they show if you can't get the fabrics. I know the places I checked were sold out because everybody's getting them. So you may or may not be able to find them, but you know, if they say, well, we can order you that bundle, or we've already ordered that bundle, we don't have them anymore, whatever, at least you can see the colors and try to match up the colors if you want to, or you can do any colors you want. You know, I'm always about doing it your way in that respect. Again, these are 10 by 10. This is what's going to happen. On Tuesdays, Riley Blake each week for 16 weeks puts out a new pattern. Like I said, we're a few behind, but we're going to get caught up. They put out the pattern on Tuesdays. On Thursday of that week, the Build a Quilt version will come out for free on the website with the cutting information. Okay, but you want to download these, because although this how to sew things together in the traditional quilting method isn't what you need, what you are going to need is this layout information. Whoops, upside down. This layout information and the color information and all of that. Okay, you will need that. So you want to download, and these patterns are really nice because they're only one sheet. You're not paper on paper on paper, or just plug them into your computer and keep them that way. But you want to use the invited invitation list, date list. Check these off as you get your patterns so that you know that you get them all from Riley Blake. I don't know how long they'll leave them up at the end. Probably for a while. I think the 2023 one is still out there, so they might leave them up indefinitely or for a year. I'm not really sure. But you'll want to use this as your checklist. Check it off once for downloading the Riley Blake pattern. Check it off twice when you download the Build a Quilt version for you to do with your embroidery machine, okay? I've already gotten a lot of people sending me saying, yay, I can't wait. And this pattern for Lori Holt's Vintage Delight block is already out. This Thursday, we will talk about this block and do some demo in the video that I'm going to do. We may talk about some of these others that I'm trying to catch us up on. It just depends on how much I can get done by Thursday, okay? But there you go, guys. I hope you love it. So remember, I always say, if you ask for it, I'll do it for you, and I hope that works out for you. I haven't gotten any calls saying you can't do that. And I think it's perfectly fine. I'm just translating their patterns into the Build a Quilt. And again, the Build a Quilt versions are free, just like the Riley Blake versions are, so that everybody can do this. And all the credit for these goes to Riley Blake and their designers. It's not me. All that I am responsible for are giving you these digital files so that you can do it in the patchwork in the hoop method, right? Alrighty. All right. That is Quilt Lab for today. That was a lot to go over in Quilt Lab, I think. We went over the project, we went over the Riley Blake Quilt Along, and we talked about getting fonts. If you have more questions about that, or questions about the Riley Blake Quilt Along or Block Challenge or the project, please contact me at support@sewuncommon.com. Please, as you're doing these projects, please, please, please download your photos to the Facebook page so that I can share them and we can all quilt and sew together, right? That's what it's all about, guys. Now, the website is www.sewuncommon.com. You can go there right now and get your guide, your companion guide for the project. If you haven't purchased your pattern set, it's available. You're getting these in 3 sizes, remember, in the pattern set. If you are a Quilt Lab subscriber, you should have gotten your email with your coupon code to go download this at no charge because it's part of your subscription. And you can download the first pattern set for the Riley Blake Block Challenge, this one called Vintage Delight by Lori Holt. Thursday, we'll go over this in the video that will come out on Thursdays. Whew. And then again, of course, Wednesday, we have Wednesday workshop coming this week. Friday is normally Social Friday Live. This week, it will be Social Friday Almost Live. I will do a pre-recorded only because I'm going to be out of town again all day. And then I don't have any Friday business for a long time to come. But there will be something come out. Now, the last thing I want to tell subscribers to Quilt Lab, our first Zoom is going to be on February 29th. Leap Day! I love Leap Day. I think it's just a fun day. It comes only every 4 years, has lots of fun stuff. that's connected to it, like in Ireland. My granny always told me this. It's how she got my grandpa to marry her, that on leap day, a girl can ask a guy to marry him and he has to say yes. I don't know if that's true. That's just what my grandma told me. I love that tradition, though. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, I like that. Of course, you would have to be single and, you know. But sometimes my grandma, you know how grandmas can be. Especially Irish grandmas, they embellish for the sake of the story, but I think that's a fun idea. Anyway, our Zoom will be on the 29th of February at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. You will get the link that week. I'm not sending it out too early because I don't want it to get lost in all your email. I know it would get lost in mine. So this will come out to you the week of the 29th, but go ahead and mark it on your calendar right now. February 29th, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time is Quilt Lab Zoom session. That's our free Quilt Lab Zoom. That is a benefit of subscribing to Quilt Lab. If you're not a subscriber, you won't get an invitation. I'm sorry. That is a benefit for subscribers only. But we're happy to have you as a subscriber and to join us. The more the merrier. So you can check that out over at the website as well. And of course, if you've got any questions on any of that, give me a call. Okay, everybody. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We would love to have you. This group has only grown by leaps and bounds because of all of you. Every single one of you mean the world to me. And I would love to have you as a subscriber here on the YouTube channel. You get notified when things happen. You won't miss any of the things we do. And please like and share our videos. That allows more people to find us. And that's how we grew this past year. If we grow in this year the way we grew last year, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just been crazy, but it's been wonderful. So please subscribe, like, and share the videos. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you're here in the US, you know, it's also Super Bowl Sunday. So maybe you're watching this during the Super Bowl, but if not, watch the Super Bowl, cheer for your favorite team, or watch it for the commercials. Until next time, everybody. So life beautiful. Bye for now.